The best wildcard draft for game week 29. Two starting goalkeepers for under or 4 million. And gimme a striker from Sweden. Let's get into it. G'day, mate. I'm FPLRoo, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another FPL video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Game Week 29 wildcard draft, the best possible wildcard you can build for Game Week 29. And anyway, let's get into it. So in goal, I have gone for Everson, so the Leicester goalkeeper. Danny Ward has been dropped, so it looks like Everson is now going to be the first choice keeper for this double game week in Game Week 29. He does have Crystal Palace away and Everton and Aston Villa at home. We've also gone for Steele, the Brighton goalkeeper, as it looks like Sanchez, Robert Sanchez has been dropped to Brighton. And again, they have a double game week and Brighton have a load of double game weeks coming up. The reason why I've actually gone for Steele is because Estupiñán is playing here in Australia where I am for the international break, and he's only 3 days before their first game against Brentford, so I'm not too sure he'll make it back in time. So just to be safe, and if you are playing your bench boost, you definitely want to go for a player that's playing. You could even go for Lewis Dunk, but I've decided to go for the goalkeeper. Also with the defence, I've gone for Trippier, who has the double game week of Man United at home and West Ham away. Again, Trippier is great player. Although Newcastle's clean sheets have dried up, I have decided to stick with the double Newcastle defence with Botman, with Man United at home as well and West Ham away, because Newcastle are due another double game week before the end of the season. So they've got two double game weeks in that period. Again, like I said, their clean sheets haven't been great, but I fancy them to turn that around, and I fancy Trippier to carry on and kind of adding in them assists, maybe even a goal here and there. Next time I've gone for Luke Shaw. So with the point of playing the wildcard in Game Week 29, you can load up on Man United players, whereas if you played it in 26, even 27 or 28, you couldn't, as Man United blanked in 28. So we've gone for Luke Shaw, Newcastle away, Brentford at home. We've also gone with Chilwell, so two home games, Villa and Liverpool at home. And then another player on the bench is Emerson for West Ham, so a bit of a wild card pick, no pun intended. West Ham have been absolutely terrible this season, but if they are going to turn it around, it's going to be these two massive home games in the double game week with Southampton at home, who are right near them in the relegation scrap, and then Newcastle at home too. So if they've got any chance of kind of putting together a few wins and gaining momentum, they're going to have to do well in these games. Also, David Moyes could be sacked over the international break, so that could spark a new manager bounce, and they could start performing better. But yeah, that's my wildcard pick for 4 million. He is. You can't really go wrong, and you'll see as I go on later on in the weeks and later on in the video that he won't be playing that much, but we'll get onto that later on anyway. So if I go for Fernandes and Rashford for the Man United midfielders, Rashford's on fire. Fernandes done us so well in the last double game weeks, for especially me anyway, and I do fancy them to score goals in these two games, although Newcastle and Brentford defences are not the worst. Man United do need to bounce back from that draw against Southampton, and yeah, get back to kind of winning ways in the Premier League. Also, to Brighton, so March and Matoma. You could go for McAllister, and I do like McAllister over March, but I decided to just keep these just for the budget. Because you've missed out on one of the double game weeks already, it's kind of maybe less worth going to paying the extra money and going to McAllister, although Brighton are likely to have another 3 after this double game weeks for the rest of the season. So in this one, they have a really good one with Brentford at home and Bournemouth away. Also, the midfield is made up of Maddison, so Palace away and Villa at home. Some really good fixtures. He did get an assist in the game week just gone in game week 28. I am hopeful Maddison to score really, really well, and I'm thankful that he didn't punish me by not going early on him and getting him in earlier. The strike force is Isaac and Newcastle. He did bang 2 goals in game week 28, and that's not why I'm putting him in, but I'm putting him in because he does have a double game week, albeit not the best. Newcastle have turned their form around though. They have got a couple wins in a row now, and Isaac being a huge part of that. He is also on penalties, as he did score the winning penalty in game week 28. But the main reason is Newcastle, again, like I said, have another dog game week before the end of the season, and that could be in game week 31. So that's why I've gone for Isaac. Also, Havertz up front, Villa at home, Liverpool away. He's on penalties. Although I don't fully trust the Chelsea attack, they have been scoring a few extra goals, a few more goals. They've scored 2 against Everton, 2 against Dortmund, and 3 against who were they playing? 3 against Leicester a few game weeks ago. So yeah, I'm just, it's kind of with this wildcard, I feel like you can be a bit differential. You can go different to the teams, the template teams, because you are wildcarding. So that's why I've gone for that. And then Harry Kane, template as can get, but very, very reliable, especially this season, who has Everton away. But we'll skip forward to the game weeks, the further game weeks in the future, just so we can see how the team will look. First up, game week 30, we'll skip through. So as you saw there was a lot of money in the bank. That is so you can get back in Erling Haaland. So you kind of got 2 options. Let's just sort the team out first. So I'd play Harry Kane, and then I'd probably leave the defence as it is, and the goalkeeper. So with this, you kind of got 2 options. If you wanted to play on the fact that Newcastle might have a double game week in game week 31, if it is announced by then, or that fixture is announced further along in the season, then maybe you can take out Isaac for Erling Haaland. But let's assume that Newcastle will double in 31, as the predictive fixtures show on FPL.team, which is the website I am using for this draft. So let's just go Isaac. Let's just go Havertz to Erling Haaland. So back in for the Southampton again, I'll probably captain him, or you should captain him if you are playing this wild card. And then this is how the team will look. So Everson, Bournemouth at home, Trippier, Brentford away, Shaw, Rashford and Fernandes with Everton at home, Chilwell, Wolves away, Matoma, Tottenham away, Maddison, Bournemouth at home, Kane, Brighton at home, Isaac, Brentford away, and Haaland with Southampton at home. You could play Emerson instead of... No, I'll probably leave it like that. But that's how the team will look. So still pretty strong. You are having to play Matoma against Spurs away, but that's not a problem in this day and age, as Spurs are not looking the best, and they have just conceded 3 goals to Southampton. But we'll move on to game week 31, where there is a possible double game week for Brighton and for Newcastle. So again, this is how the team will look. We'll bring in Botman. We'll bring in March as well. Probably for Maddison, and we'd probably play Shaw. So this is how the team would look. But again, this all kind of depends if you have your free hit left. So let's assume that people do have their free hit left as well. So for me, I'd be playing it in... Let's bring in Still as well. I'd be playing it in game week 32. So unless you use your transfer in game week 31, you'll basically lose it, as you can't roll the transfers after a free hit. So the week after a free hit, you only get 1 transfer. So you might as well make a transfer this time round, preparing for game week 33. So I'd probably take out Maddison, and you could even go for Almiron and maybe drop one of the Man United midfielders, but that fixture against Forest is pretty good. So you could even just prepare for the future double game week. So if we have a scroll down to the fixtures, then we're looking on from 33 onwards. So you're kind of looking at even Liverpool will be a good shout, as they do have a double game week in game week 34. City's not a bad shout with a double game week, and then you've got Man United too. But I'm probably going to go for a City or a Liverpool player in this draft. So the options are, you could go Phil Foden from City, but again, this all depends on what City players playing at the time. But you have enough for Foden, for Maddison, and again, you don't have to play them this week, but you'd probably play him over Bruno Fernandes, or you could even go Liverpool. So instead of that Foden, you could go for someone like maybe Gakpo with Leeds away. But I'd probably go for the City player. So I'd go for Foden, as they will be fighting for the league. But you just got to nail that City option. You could go Mahrez, you could go De Bruyne if you do have the money. This draft doesn't have the money, so yeah, probably Foden. So this is how the team will line up in game week 31 for the double game week. Still with a double: Trippier, Botman with Brighton at home, Everton, Aston Villa away, Shaw with Forest away, Foden with Leicester at home, Rashford with Forest away, Matoma and March with Newcastle away, Chelsea away. Not the best double game week, but you're getting two fixtures. Brighton are looking so good at the moment. So I do fancy them to get a result in probably both of them games, at least a draw. Kane with Bournemouth at home, Isaac with Brighton at home and Villa away, and Haaland with Leicester at home. Captain will probably be maybe Isaac, or even maybe Harry Kane as vice. But yeah, that's how the team will look in game week 31. Let's go on to game week 32. So game week 32 is a blank game week. So this is why I said it all depends on what cheats you have. So if you still had the free hit, you'd play it in this week. If you didn't, then you'd tailor your transfers around that. So maybe you'd get in West Ham players. You'd get in, well, you got free Newcastle already, but you'd get in Leicester players. So you probably keep Maddison. But for me, I think there's too many good teams blank that you'll want later on. So it is probably best to play your free hit. And this is kind of the team I would go for. So, Liverpool are playing, so I'd go for Salah. Arsenal are playing too, so I'd definitely go for Saka. And I'd go for Odegaard. Obviously, closer to the time, you might have players that are better on better form, and just you get that feel of who is on form. But for me, right now in this draft, I just go for the players that I think will score the most as I look at it now. But like I said, closer to the time, that might not be the case. Sure, I'd probably go for maybe someone like Gabriel or Zinchenko. But let's go Gabriel. And then West Ham have Bournemouth away, so it might be good to get a few West Ham players in. So you could go for someone like Danny Ings, and then maybe Jared Bowen. And Fulham have a pretty good fixture too. So let's go Danny Ings, Botman. So Fulham, if we look at the fixtures for game week 32, so we really want to target Arsenal. We want to target even Brentford. We've got Villa at home, which is not a bad fixture. Palace with Everton at home. Could you go for Zaha? Fulham with Leeds at home. Maybe someone like Solomon. But really, you want free Liverpool, free Arsenal, and probably free West Ham, and then work your way back from there. So let's test that out. So in goal, or we'll go for the defense first. So let's go Chilwell. We'll get Trent in. We'll get Trent in there. Probably for Trippier. Even though Spurs at home is not the worst fixture. You'd go Isaac for probably Darwin. And then you might be looking at Solomon. You might be looking at, maybe you could go for Areola. So West Ham's goalkeeper. So in that way, that gives you a space to get someone in this position. Maybe you can just play Trippier and go for anyone. Go for not sure if he's even playing, but we'll go for Trippier. And then maybe something like that. Obviously, you might need to save some money, so we'll drop down Fernandes. Drop him right down to 4.1 million. Drop Aurier right down. Because really, you're on a free hit, so you're kind of banking on most of the players playing. You just need to save a couple million now. So something like that. So there we go. That would be kind of a look at the team of how it may look. You could go, instead of Bowen, you could go Solomon, and then you should definitely be able to afford that, no matter what your team value is. As Solomon has been on fire for Fulham recently, so maybe yeah, that's probably the team I'd go for. Captain would probably be Salah, followed by Saka. And yeah, that's how the free hits in would be. But please make sure to use your transfer in game week 31, as you will lose it in game week 33, as you can't roll a transfer after the free hit. But let's go on to 33 and get back to the original wildcard team. But this is how your 33 team would be. With game week 33, it is a bit tricky, as Tottenham play Manchester United and Arsenal play City. So a lot of your players will be playing each other, but sometimes there's nothing really you can do about that. Newcastle do have Everton away, which yeah, could be a good fixture, could not be a good fixture. Who knows at that time, with how Everton perform. They do well one week, struggle the next week. So for me, this is probably how I'd play this team. I'd probably go for someone like maybe even Matoma captain, or Haaland, because I know Haaland's on fire at the moment, and he probably will be still on fire after that. But yeah, that's how I'd line up for this team. Roll the transfer, and then we'll go into game week 34, which is a double game week, with the chance of making kind of 2 to 3 transfers, even for a -4, to get in the most double game week players and the best double game week players. But we'll skip onto it now. So yeah, this is how. Let's quickly make the changes. Yeah, Emerson we'll put here. And yeah, that's how it'll look. Obviously, this is even a possible bench boost. So what I would do with this team is, so you're missing a lot of Liverpool players. Liverpool have a really good double game week. So if we scroll down to the fixtures again, so you want to avoid. So Arsenal have Chelsea, so that's tough for both teams. But the double game weeks, you got Brighton, Fulham, Man City, Liverpool, avoid. Liverpool have 2 home games, Spurs and Fulham, so you kind of want to get a few players from there. Man City have Fulham and West Ham. United have Villa and Bournemouth, and Brighton. So you're kind of looking at City, Liverpool, United. So you've already got 3 United, and 2 City. So you really want to be hoping to get Liverpool players. For me, I'd probably go Harry Kane to Darwin. Even though Isaac has a good fixture, you always got to target them double game week fixtures. And then I'd go Chilwell for Trent. Something like that, and then you still got a couple million in the bank, and that West Ham double game week is not the best, so you might even be better playing Trippier with Southampton at home. But for me, what I'd do is I'd actually go. Well, let's look at Newcastle's fixtures towards the end of the season first. Newcastle got Arsenal next, Leeds, Leicester, Chelsea, so not the best. So I'd probably go Botman to someone like Robertson. But obviously with this team, you are missing out on Salah. That is something to bear in mind. But I'd go Robertson here, and then you've got 3 Liverpool. Obviously, you're missing out Salah, which could be a big mistake. But you have got Darwin, and you've got a double Liverpool defence. Let's say you did want to get Salah. Let's undo these. So you've got 2.9 in the bank. You could go Bruno to Salah. So Bruno to Mo Salah. Something like that. But at the same time, you're taking out a good double game week that Bruno's got for Salah, which is a bit rough. But so you kind of got to decide whether you want Bruno and Emerson versus Robertson and Fernandes. So for me, I would go I'd actually go the Bruno route. So take out Salah. I'd go Bruno, and then I'd go Robertson. So I'd go Botman for Robertson, like we just did. And then this is how I'd line up. Captain will probably be Haaland, and this is a great opportunity to play your triple captain if you've still got it. And then let's go vice captain Bruno Fernandes, or let's go Rashford. And this is how the team. But this would be a -4 though. Bear that in mind. But that looks pretty solid. 11 double game week players. You've even got one on the bench, and that is looking like a pretty good bench boost if you don't want to play it in game week 29. So that is something to consider. But let's move on to game week 35. So game week 35 is how your team's looking. So still pretty strong. You probably keep it the same, to be honest. So Liverpool have Brentford at home. So you got triple Liverpool. Man United have West Ham away. City have Leeds at home, and Brighton have Everton at home. So really, you've only got players in your starting lineup from four teams. So you've got the 3 Brighton, 3 Liverpool, 3 City, 3 United, and 2 City. So you are putting all your eggs in 4 teams, but they are pretty good teams, and they are teams that we're going to need to win towards the end of the season. We'll keep going now onto game week 36. So again, your goalkeepers are not looking great. You'd probably have to play Everson there, even though you have got Darwin. But you could get, again, your team's looking great, but I'd probably go Isaac for March and then play something like that. So that's how I'd do it. I'd probably go Trippier actually for Robertson. But again, your team is looking very, very strong. Good bench. You have got 2 transfers though, so you might be looking forward to game week 37 as there is another double game week. So, but it is a lot of the same players. So Liverpool don't have a double game week, but you've got City and Man United again. So you might want to take out a Liverpool player and try and get another City player. So for me, I'd probably go for something like Robertson and try and get maybe Diaz or Laporte or Walker. Let's go Ake actually. He looks like the best option at the moment. So they have Everton away. So you might want to play him instead of. Still got pretty good fixtures to be honest. Or you could even go. I'd probably go for that, something like that. But again, you've got another transfer, so you could go. But let's just roll it and then move on. You could also, instead of Ake, so let's undo that one. Instead of Ake and Diaz, you could keep Robertson, and you could go Everson to Ederson. But I wouldn't do that as your Brighton goalkeeper has a double game week. So I'd just stick with Ake. Yeah, something like that. You've still got a load of money in the bank. You've still got all great players. If Isaac doesn't play, you've got Ake to come on. But let's skip forward to game week 37, which is another double game week. So you'd bring on your double game week players, bring on March as well. Brighton actually have a double game week. This is why people are bringing in loads and loads of Brighton players, trying to max out on Brighton, is that because they do have so many double game weeks until the end of the season. They play more games than anyone else. And they are a really good team. It's not like you're getting Bournemouth or Leeds or Everton or etc. players. No disrespect to them teams. You're getting Brighton players. Brighton are a decent team. So you're probably looking at something like that. I remember, like I said, Emerson doesn't really play. You'd probably go Trent or Thing, but you've got 2 transfers now, so you could even change a few things up. So let's again look at the fixtures. Chelsea have a double game week, but I'm just not too sure on that. I'm not too sure on that double game week. So you'd probably be looking towards game week 38 as you do have 2 transfers. Liverpool have Southampton away, Leicester, Everton at Bournemouth at home, Palace, Forest at home, Arsenal. So it might be a game week where you'd get some Arsenal players back in, as they do have Forest away. So let's try something like that. Let's go. We can go Isaac to Jesus. And then could even go Trippier to Gabriel. So something like that. You could even play Jesus instead of Darwin. But yeah, it's looking something like that. Yeah, you could even play Gabriel instead of Trent. I'd probably play Trent though, just for the attacking threat. But yeah, that's how your team would look. So really, really strong again. This is why playing the wild card, you can set up for the doubles without having to worry about that blank game week we just went through. That's the positives of playing it in game week 29. We'll move on to the last game of the season now. So you want to play your Arsenal players, as there probably will be fighting for the league. You probably go Ake out and play Darwin, and then you have a spare transfer now, so you can literally do what you want. You just got to see who you think has the best fixture. Let's scroll down. So Everton, Arsenal again, Wolves. So you might want to go, especially if it's the last game of the season, you might want to go something like if it does work with money wise, something like Matoma to Martinelli or to Odegaard to try and get them Arsenal players back in for that last game. So let's say Odegaard. So yeah, that's how your team would look. So really, really strong. You get to finish the season really, really strong too. You might want to play Everton with West Ham at home. But yeah, that was the game week 29 wild card. We'll just quickly skip back and go through each game week, just so you can recap. So game week 38, and then we'll go all the way back to game week 29, and we'll see how the team looks. So you'd probably pay your bench boost, but remember there is a chance to play it later on. But I'd recommend playing it. Well, you actually can't play it in this week, so that's why I was talking about later on and playing it later on. This is because you played your wild card in this game week, in game week 29. That means you're unable to use any other chips again. So you would be looking to play it later on. So let's take that off. So you'd go. So again, this is a good bench, but you probably want to play it in this week, game week 30. This is a good bench, but probably you're not really liking the goalkeeper and Emerson. Game week 32, nope. Game week 33, nope. Game week 34 is a good chance to play the bench boost. So although Emerson is not the best fixture, you got Newcastle players with Southampton at home. So that's a good chance to play the bench boost if you do have it left, that is. Game week 36 and then game week 37 is the last double game week, and that is again a good chance to play the bench boost. So as you're playing it in game week 29, just to recap, you're unable to play your bench boost in the same week you play your wild card. Well, that was it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you are new around here, please make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. I do release 2 to 3 FPL videos every single week. But yeah, let me know below what you think of this wildcard draft. Have I missed anyone out? And yeah, we'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.